Okay guys, so in this lesson I wanted to go over what an engagement group is in more detail. So an engagement group is basically a group of people on a specific app. This could be Telegram, WhatsApp, on Facebook groups, or even directly on Instagram itself. They're gathered together and they're committed to sharing each other's content, promoting each other's content, trying to have huge amounts of growth for one another. And they do this by liking and commenting on each other's images on Instagram. And as we know, on Instagram, the more engagement we get on each post, the more Instagram is actually going to promote that post, and the more Instagram promotes that post, the more engagement it's going to get on Instagram, and the more people are going to see our content and our account. So we can use engagement groups to promote our content, to get huge amounts of engagement, to help Instagram promote our content, so we can start using engagement groups to get huge amounts of growth, both in followers and engagement. So I use the app Telegram, and I'm on my iPad at the minute. I don't use Telegram on my phone, but you can use Telegram on either on your tablet or on your mobile device, but I choose to just use it on my tablet. So I'm going to go into Telegram, and as you can see, I have a list of different groups that I'm in here, and every single one of these posts are in here are people sharing their content, trying to get more engagement. And Telegram is a completely free app that you can download at any time. We're not limited to just Telegram. You can use WhatsApp, you can use Facebook, you can use Instagram itself using the direct message feature. So we're going to want to join as many of these engagement groups as we can, so we can start promoting our content and getting other people to help us promote our content. And like I said, in all of these groups, we've got people sharing their content with one another. So once you post in these engagement groups, people are going to come clicking on this link, like so. They're going to get directed to that page on Instagram, and they're going to like, and they're going to come down, and they're going to comment as well. And they normally comment things of 3 words or more. So this, like so. And that is how engagement groups work on Instagram. And this is how we're going to get huge amounts of engagement on Instagram, so Instagram can actually promote our content. So the more of these engagement groups we're actually in, the more engagement we're going to get on each post. We're going to want to use engagement groups as soon as we possibly can, but do keep in mind that after we hit 10,000 followers on Instagram, we're going to have some leverage we can offer to other engagement groups. And using this leverage, and the leverage being having a big account with 10,000 followers or more, we're going to join engagement groups who have accounts with massive amounts of followers. So I'm talking 10k, 20k, 30k, 50k, and even 100k plus. So how this is going to work and why it's going to actually make our content go more viral and get more engagement is because we're going to have loads of accounts of 10k plus, 100k commenting and liking on our pictures, and Instagram is going to see this and think that all of these accounts with huge amounts of following are liking our content and commenting on our content. The Instagram is going to see this and think that it's actually fantastic content and start promoting it even more than it would do. So this is why it's extremely important to try and get to 10k as fast as we possibly can. And this is why we've gone over in the previous videos how we can actually get to 10k, and like I've said before, the follow unfollow method is the best way to get to 10k followers on Instagram. And in those lessons I gave you 3 methods of how we can get to 10k followers. The first one being is the Morphic software that automatically does commenting, liking, following, unfollowing on loads of different accounts in your niche, and this is going to give you huge amounts of growth on your Instagram automatically. And then the second one was that app that you can get on iTunes, which is quite cheap but a bit more risky. You still have to manually put in who you want to follow every single day, but it's cheaper than Morphix. And then the third option is we can manually do this ourselves, but like I said, this takes a lot of time and effort, but again, it is free. So choose one of those methods to get to 10k, and do keep in mind that you can use engagement groups, and I highly suggest that you do use engagement groups while you're growing to 10k, as again, it's just going to help your Instagram promote your content, as we'll be getting more engagement on our posts. But once we hit 10k, we're going to have this leverage account, so we can start contacting people who are in big engagement groups to ask to join, and we're more likely to get into these engagement groups because we have a big account with a big following. And the way we can do this is we can find accounts with huge amounts of comments on their posts and ask them if they're in any engagement groups and if we can join them, and ask any of the engagement groups that you're actually in if they have any big engagement groups to actually join. So we're going to do a lot of content marketing to get into these high-end engagement groups. But once you reach that 10k following, a lot of people will be asking you if you can join their engagement groups, and they'll probably just be adding you in without even asking you sometimes, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, whichever way you look at it. So like I said, once we hit that 10k following, we're going to do a lot of content marketing by reaching out to other big accounts on Instagram and asking if there are any engagement groups and ask to join. We don't want to be begging anyone, and we especially don't want to be reaching out to them when we don't have 10k following, a following of 10k plus, as we don't have anything of value to offer in exchange for being added into these high-end engagement groups. So I wouldn't bother reaching out, as you probably won't get many responses at all unless you have an account of 10k plus. But like I said, while we are building up to that 10k following, we also want to use engagement groups. This is just going to help us get more engagement on our posts, and any promotion that Instagram give us just going to be beneficial to us. So we're going to want to use both methods to get to 10k. But like I said, the follow and follow method is by far going to be the best way to naturally grow to that 10k mark. How do we actually use these engagement groups? And it works the same on every single platform. Like I showed you before, everyone's posting their content in these engagement groups. Everybody clicks onto these posts, and every single engagement group that you're in is going to have certain rules, like you have to comment and like on 5 pictures before you can post your own one. It's going to be different for every single engagement group that you're in, but the way we can actually start posting into these engagement groups is as soon as we post on Instagram. So we're just going to head over to Instagram now. I'm going to go over to this account here, and here's one of the accounts that I'm currently growing just on the side, a side account like we spoke about, that we'll speak about in another lesson, that's going to help another account grow. But here's one of the side accounts that I'm currently growing. We're just going to come over to share, and we're going to come down to copy link. So once we've copied that link, we're going to head back to the engagement group. We're just going to paste it in here. Once we paste that in here, we're going to send that, and people are going to see this come up in their engagement group, and they're going to start commenting and liking our post. And we're going to want to do this as soon as we post on Instagram. Start posting our content into all of these engagement groups, and you're going to want to post into as many engagement groups as you possibly can to get the most amount of engagement. So guys, this brings this engagement group lesson to a close. If you have any more questions about engagement groups, definitely get in contact with me in the Facebook group, and I'll be sure to help you out. But like I said, we're going to want to use both methods, the follow and follow method and the engagement groups, to reach that 10k mark. But once you reach that 10k mark, we're going to have something of value, and we're going to leverage our account to get into these high-end engagement groups. And once we hit that 10k mark, we're going to start reaching huge amounts of exponential growth. Alright then guys, I'll see you in the next lesson.